Right, okay, I'm back out on the bank again. Today I've made the short journey over to Weymouth. We're fishing Wallys Lake, which is in Osmington. I'm joined by Mark, who fishes the venue regularly. What can you tell us about this place then?
Well mate, it's an intimate silty little pond with plenty of stalking opportunities.
Nice.
The stock in here is around 60 to 70 fish, can't be too accurate. They range from probably around £15 to mid-20s.
Okay, yeah, a nice stock of fish then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing a bit of stalking today, so let's get the gear out of the car and get fishing.
Let's do it, mate. Right, I'm just going to show you how I'm preparing my free offerings today on this session. I'm starting off by taking a small handful of the Tiger Nut and Toffee, which have not long been out of the freezer, so they're still really lovely and sticky, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. Just pop them in the bait tub, and I'm going to use some of the new chili extract, and just gently sprinkle it over the top. And just going to roll it around, mix it around with my fingers, get a nice even coating on all the baits, and you'll end up with something like this. And I'm hoping this will nick me a quick bite. Right, there we go then. What a way to open the account. New PB bream for me, £12.5. Taking on the TNT's rolled in chili powder that we showed you earlier. Chris was just off priming a few stalking spots and he had to come sprinting around to net this one. Happy days. Right, left hand rod that's on the tree line is just tore off again. I'm just putting up a good scrap, this fish. Right, look at this little cracker then. Lovely dark common, £19 2 ounce. Again off my tree line spot. Let's slip her back and see if we can get another one.
So now hold in there if you can. Right, because I've never been to the venue before, the first thing I did when I turned up is have a cast about with a 1 ounce lead to try and find out what the bottom's like. I've got between 2 and 3 foot of water in front of me and a very, very silty bottom, and the rig suits this situation. I've only got a 1.5 ounce lead, so the lead doesn't plug into the bottom. I've also got a very long hook link. I'm not going to use a PVA bag. I'm going to use 2 PVA foam nuggets around the hook so it settles down on top of the silt nicely. Because I'm not using a bag, I still want that attraction around it, and what I'm finding is when fish are coming in front of my spots that they're really clouding up that shallow water and all the silt's being disturbed. So to add extra attraction to the hook bait without using a PVA bag, I'm just shaking it about in some of the GLM powder, and that's just going to coat that hook bait and hopefully help fish find the bait a lot quicker and get me a take. Right, well there we are, first fish of the night. Unfortunately it's another bream, and I think that's made me make a decision now that I'm not going to put any more pellet out. I'm going to fish purely with steamies. I don't want to get plagued with these during the night, although they're all decent sized bream. This fish is probably around £6, something like that. Slip it back now and get the rods repositioned, hopefully next time for a carp. Well there we are, left hand rod just gone off. I decided to put 2 rods side by side. Just put a small scatter of the steamies which I soaked up in some milk and sugar, and it's taken a long time, but I'm finally in. It's been quite a quiet night for me, but definitely a carp, not a bream this time, and going to concentrate on getting it in now. And it's ours. Lovely job. Right, there we are, right hand rod, the one in the margins just screamed off. Lovely common. I've waited a long time for this fish. Mark's had a lot of fish showing over by the tree line, and I've been trying to plug away, trying to get them on mixers, but I just think they've been hammered on mixers for so long now. They're really finicky, and I just can't get a take. But yeah, pleased to catch this one on the bottom, and hopefully we'll get a few more tonight.
Right, I've just repositioned my right hand rod back along the tree line after a few hours of inactivity, and it's literally been in the water about 5 minutes, and it's peeled off. He's trying to really get into these snags, just got to try and keep him out. I freshened the baits, fresh TNT on, dipped again in the chili powder, and that really seems to be doing the business for me in this session. Let's get this one back and see if we can bag a few more.
Right, what an amazing night's fishing we had last night. We had these two fish at first light, and probably two of the better fish that we had, to be honest. Real nice, pretty linear, and a £20 common, so can't grumble at that, can we? We just seemed to stop putting the pellet in, put the 20mm steamies out rather, a much bigger bait than I think what most people would consistently feed, and it just seemed to do the business. Not only did we catch lots of fish last night, we also caught mostly bigger ones. You know, the linear we're only showing there just because it's so pretty. It's a gorgeous fish, probably one of the little rare mirrors in here, and you know.
So I was chuffed when this slipped over the net actually.
Awesome, isn't it? But most of the fish we had last night were between what, 12 and 15 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, it's little mid doubles, weren't they?
All the same sort of looking, sort of cricket back commons. Let's get these two fish back now and see if we can get them on mixers.
Let's do it.
Ready, easy to go.
Right, this is the tree line swim that I've been having all my fish on this session. And I've noticed that as it's gone on, the closer I can get my bait to the trees, the quicker the bites are coming. So all I'm doing to get it under the overhang is just simply dropping my rig into the bait spoon, and then all I'm doing then is shipping it out tight underneath the overhang and just simply turning it upside down.
Good. Right, yesterday evening the floater fishing was extremely difficult, and we spent at least an hour trying to get them competing, and when we finally did, the fish kept sussing the hook bait. It didn't matter what we did, whether we buried the hook, whether we had it presented on a tight hair, whether we had it on a band. Every time they came to the hook bait they swelled away and they were sussing something. I don't know what it was. I can only assume it's because they've been hammered on floaters all summer and they're really wary of them. What I'm going to do now is I've just spotted a couple of fish feeding a little cut-out swim, which I can fish off the rod tip. I can see exactly what's happening. So I'm hoping in that situation I've got a better chance of hooking a fish rather than using the controller at range, which is what I was doing yesterday. So I'm going to creep over to it now and try and get a fish. Yep.
Right, other fish are just rattled off along the tree line on the double 16mm TNTs with the chili extract on them. Funnily enough, I was just discussing with Chris of putting a zig on this rod because there's a lot shown on the surface, and literally just as those words come out of my mouth, it's peeled off. Fish went hard for the snags, but I've managed to get it out, and he's now just plodding around in front of me.
Right, Mark, another fish. Seeing that one's got a little mark on him, we'll just treat that. It's a little nasty one, that one. Lovely job. Yeah, just something to point out, when we're getting the fish out, we're taking them out in the shade. It's a really, really hot day. The last thing we want is the fish drying out, so we're taking it into the shade when we're doing all the filming. And obviously we've got some water on hand just to keep the fish nice and moist, but yeah, well done, mate. Another nice fish.
Very much.
Hoist him up.
Yeah.
Typical common from this lake, I think, from what we've been told.
Nice dark old common.
Yeah.
They're all
Lovely fish, isn't it?
all originals in here. None of them have been stocked.
He really wanted that bait as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he took it right down, didn't he?
Right back in his mouth. But
it was just quite funny, as I was saying to Chris, that all the fish were on the top, and I was about to switch over to a zig, and literally as those words come out of my mouth, this rod absolutely tore off.
nah, well done, mate. Let's
Cheers,
get it back.
mate. Thank you very much.
Right, okay, we've come to the end of our session down here at Wallys Lake. We've had a really good time down here. We think we ended up with about 13 carp between us, 2 bream, one of which was a PB.
Yeah, lovely fish that was, 12.5 pounds.
Yep, £20 common, £19 common, and £12 bream, and that linear as well. That was a really nice fish.
Very pretty little fish.
So,
of course, those other backup commons as well.
Yeah, no, it was a really good session, but tell you what, we've got to lug all this gear up that steep hill now, so I'm not looking forward to it, but no, let's get going.